Welcome. Today I'm going to go over the BT Tennis Scoreboard application, which is seen on the TV here. It's a professional grade tennis scoreboard that you can use in your tennis tournaments, bring your tennis clubs and tennis games to the next level. Alright, so the BT Tennis Scoreboard application can be downloaded on the Apple App Store for your iPhone and iPad devices. As well, it's available for Android devices on the Google Play Store. And as I mentioned, this is on the TV, so if your TV has Google TV or the Android TV operating system, you can actually download the scoreboard directly onto the TV. Or if you have an Amazon Fire TV stick as shown here, you can actually download it on the Amazon App Store onto that Fire TV stick and plug that stick into your TV and you'll have the tennis scoreboard. Alright, optionally you can remote control the scoreboard with a remote controller app as shown here, and that is the BT Tennis Controller application, which is also available on the App Store and the Android Play Store. And as well, you can optionally synchronize the scoreboard to a camera recording device with score overlay as shown here on the bottom right. And that application is called the BT Tennis Camera application, which is also available on the App Store and the Google Play Store. Alright, so with that said, let's jump into the tutorial today. I'm going to show you how to remote control the scoreboard with the remote controller app and as well synchronize that to video here on the BT Tennis Camera app. And with that said, let's do the first thing here, which is click on the top right Connect menu icon on the BT Tennis Controller application, and that's going to automatically discover the scoreboard as well as the camera, as you can see here. Alright, so we're going to connect with Bluetooth because these apps are compatible with Bluetooth and also with Wi-Fi if you're connected on the same Wi-Fi network. But most easily I connect with Bluetooth because that's just readily available by default on most phones and devices. Alright, so when they're green here, it means we're connected, and now the score should be synchronized on the remote controller, the scoreboard, as well as the camera app here. Alright, so with that said, let's start the warm-up timer. We have a convenient warm-up timer to allow the players to warm up pre-game, so you don't have to have a separate, let's say, assistant holding a stopwatch. It's all built into the application, and it's going to manage the flow of your game automatically as seen here. So we have a 10-minute warm-up time, but let's say if we want to exit that early, we can click on Start Match immediately. And that's going to take us into our first set and our first game. So on the top here, you see these are the controllers for the player 1. And on the bottom here, these are the controls for player 2. So let's say if you want to add a point for player 1 here, you can do a plus P, and as you can see, now it's 15 love. And if you want to add a point for player 2, obviously just click on plus P on player 2, as shown there. Alright, so let's continue to add points for player 1 until he reaches 40 to 15. And on the next point, player 1 will win the game. So if I click plus again, you're going to see that the score here turns green. It doesn't go to 45, but it turns green. And you have the option to click on confirm game. Or if that was hit by mistake, you can do a minus point here to go back to the match. But let's say I want to confirm that that game was won. I just hit the confirm game won button, and that's automatically going to increase the games won in the set 1 column here as seen, and then it's going to automatically also go to your changeover time, which is set to 1 minute 30 seconds here, as you can see. Alright, so again, the app conveniently manages the flow of the game for you, and that alleviates a lot off of, let's say, the tournament administrators. Alright, so with that said, we can exit this changeover time early just by clicking on Start Next Game. And we'll continue some other scenarios so you could see all the scenarios that the app handles let's do a deuce scenario. So let's say the game is 40 to 40. So here you see that we have a deuce label on the controller, on the scoreboard, and also if you look closely here on the camera recording application on my score overlay, I have a deuce label here on the bottom of the score overlay. All right. So if I do another point for player 1, then now we go to advantage player 1. We're at game point, so that is also labeled here on the scoreboard and all the other devices as well. And let's say player 2 scores a point, so we go back to deuce. And then let's say player 1 is doing well, advantage player 1, game point. So then we'll just finish out that point by adding another point. And here we see again that the player 1's score highlights in green, saying or asking that you want to confirm the game was won. So if we click confirm, then the point or the game will be won, and now it's 2 games to 0 in set 1. All right, let's do another situation where we have tie-break points. So in order to demonstrate this situation, let's see here. Let's pause the match. So obviously in tennis, there's really not a time, but if you watch the larger tournaments, they keep track of the total time in the match. And if you notice there, that is on the top here, the total time in the match. And also on the controller here is displayed here. On the camera is not displayed for, let's say, the viewers. But when I click pause match there, I can adjust certain things here. For example, if I want to adjust the games directly, I have the plus G, minus G button here. If for any reason you need to adjust the games won for each set, you can do that manually here. So let's create a situation where we have 6 to 6. 6 to 6. So now we're in, let's say, tie-break points. Okay, so if we click resume match here, we'll see that we have a tie-break in progress. And now if I click plus for the points, it's going to increment by 1 and not, let's say, 15. Okay, so I increment for player 2, and we'll go all the way up. Actually, if I click slow here, you're going to see something. When the total points between player 2 and player 1 are 6 in the tie-break situation, then we go to the changeover, and the changeover time is automatically here. All right, on the controller. It's not displayed on the scoreboard itself, but it is on the controller. All right, so let's say we start the next point, continue this tie break, and I'll continue to add points here and continue to 7. All right, so now we can confirm that the game was won, and we do that by clicking confirm game won. And now, since player 1 has 7 points, then we can confirm that set is won. So by clicking set 1, you can see that now, actually on the controller, you can see that we're now going to start entering set 2. All right, and we have a set break time conveniently for 2 minutes. Again, automatically managing the flow of the game with the proper rest timers to alleviate a lot of workload off of, let's say, the tournament administrators. All right, so with that said, we can exit the set break early by clicking start next set. And there you go, we're in the next set, as you can see on the scoreboard here. And let's see here, if you look on the score overlay here, we're not focusing particularly too much on the camera app today, but you can see that there's a 1-0 here specifying that the sets won is 1-0 for player 1. has a score of set 1, 1 to 0. All right, you can actually change different score overlay styles here by clicking on the score overlay button on the camera app. You don't see my finger here, but I'm clicking on this second icon down from the top on the right, and you can switch between different score overlay styles. So here you could actually see the games won in set 1, but we'll switch back to this more standard shorter form top left score overlay on the camera. Okay, with that said, let's just create some other situations just to demonstrate the features of the app real quick, and then we'll finish out the game and try to end this tutorial. Okay, so let's see what other condition can we create here. I saw an interesting condition earlier where, let's say, sets 1 and set 2 is 5 to 5, so then you need to win by 2, right? So let's create that situation. Again, you would rarely, let's say, use the plus game, minus game button here. Usually, you'll be in the match, you'll just be adding points, subtracting points if needed, and confirming that games are won, and it's going to automatically add those games for you and manage the flow of your game. But here I'm just manually creating situations, or let's say in the game or actual match you have to manually adjust that for whatever reason, maybe mistakes, then you have that option. But here, okay, so let's create a 5-5 situation in set 2 and resume match. So here, let's say player 1 wins this game. All right, we go to our changeover time, but you'll see that we don't have the confirm set 1 button yet because we have to win by 2. So now if I let player 1 win another game, okay, I click on confirm game 1, and now I have the confirm set 1 button, and by clicking that, then we go to set 3. Okay, you go to set 3. So again, let's exit this early, the set break time early, and let's do something here. Let's add some points here. So here we have the breakpoint label as well on the score overlay. Okay, so it will have the game point or breakpoint label depending on the situation, conveniently on the scoreboard and camera score overlay here, as you can see. And we'll just let player 1 win that. And let's just finish out the game, and we'll go over some, let's say, settings that we can set in the app. So let's just pause the match and end out this game. So there you go. Player 1 wins 3 sets, so 3 out of 5. So we can confirm that the match is completed, and we can exit the game. And what you're going to see here is this app's going to automatically stop recording. What I forgot to mention earlier is that it's going to automatically start recording when you start the game, so that you don't forget to start recording. And when you exit the game, it's going to automatically stop recording. Okay? Alright, so let's go real quick. How do you change player names? Just click on the player 1 button. So here you can adjust the player 1 name, adjust the color, background for player 1 if you want. As well, click player 2 to adjust player 2's name and player 2's color as well as you wish. And let's see here, down here, I didn't demonstrate the serve clock, but we have a 25-second serve clock if you need. And you have a reset 25 here within the game. It's going to toggle between reset 25 and go 25 if you need that. Here we can adjust which set we're in. Let's say if we need to go back a set and adjust some points if we made a mistake, then we can do that here. Here we just have some sound effects. Let's see if you can hear it. But it's just like a beeping sound, just in case you need to notify something. Here we can enable a music playlist if you want. Let's say during break times, music will start playing on the speaker, and let's say when the game enters again, the music can stop. You may not want this in tennis tournaments, but that option is available if needed. And this exit game button, you need to exit a game early for some reason, and just start a new game, you can click that there. Alright, finally let's finish off by looking at the settings. So on the top right here, I can go to settings. This is my settings summary. So currently we have sets in a match set to 5, we have set point is 6, advantage to win the set is 2, tiebreaker enabled, yes, tie break points play till 7, advantage to win the tiebreaker is 2, enable the serve clock or disable it, so we have it enabled, so we have that button available for us. Changeover time, we can disable it if we don't want that changeover time to happen. And set break duration here set to 2 minutes. Okay, so to edit those settings, just click Edit Settings. And now we're in the Edit Settings page. And we have 2 presets here by default. Let's say Pro 5 is a 5-set match. Pro 3 will go to a 3-set match. So automatically it will fill in the presets for you. But obviously you can manually edit these if you want. Okay, so I went over most of the settings as you already heard, but let's see if there's any other settings here we didn't go over yet. Let's see here. Let's go to miscellaneous. You can ignore that. But yeah, pretty much went over all the settings that we can set. So let's set that back to Pro 5, save and exit, and that is it. So that is the BT Tennis Scoreboard application, as well as the optional remote controller here, and optional camera application here. Alright, and again, you can download the scoreboard on the Apple App Store for iPhone, iPad devices, on the Google Play Store for Android devices, or let's say Android TV, and as well onto a Fire TV stick on the Amazon App Store. Okay, so I hope these apps are interesting for you, and thank you very much for your time, and see you next time.